On this episode of EdTech, we're going to be covering Digital Signage Expo, AV over IP, and digital signage feedback. All this and more on EdTech.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is EdTech episode 50, Paneling Signage. This episode of EdTech is brought to you by our underwriters, companies like Kramer Electronics, AV Beyond the Box.
This is EdTech.
This is EdTech. I'm your host, Bill O'Donnell. I'm gathered this week by our guest, Jesse Budd from University of Texas at Dallas campus. Hey, I got it. Say hello to everyone.
Hello.
We're also joined by Thomas Kunta from University of Illinois at Champaign, Urbana-Champaign. Did I get that correct? All right. Yep. Thank you, sir. As always, we're also joined by the illustrious Mike Tomei.
Hey, Bill. How's it going?
From Tomei Consulting. And last but certainly not least, the one fine and mighty Ernie Bailey. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just great, Bill.
That's great. So we're going to start this off first. Both Jesse and Thomas are going to be doing a panel at DSE, or Digital Signage Expo 2017. Once again, that's going to be held in Vegas in March. The exact dates you can look up on DSE's website and everything. However, they do actually have a panel that is specifically geared towards educators, and more to the point, it's actually a really apropos panel in which it's titled "Questions We Wish We Had Asked Before We Started." So, it's one of those ones where it's the kind of baptism by fire, but at the same time, it's kind of good to know some of these things going into it. Jesse, first off, I'm going to ask, what's your background in this, and then Thomas, the same thing, and then we'll get into the questions.
Sure. My name is Jesse Budd, as you already know. I've been building the Student Affairs Digital Signage program at UT Dallas for about 3 years now. And we are a rather small program right now, but we're growing. We have about 25 signs on campus. And from my perspective, I handle everything from content to managing installations and repairs and that kind of thing. And really I'm more on the student activities and campus life side of the house.
All right. Thomas, how about yourself?
Well, I've been doing this for about a decade now. We've developed a campus level IT service. IT services around digital signage. Basically, we serve the needs of the College of Engineering, housing, Illini Union, pretty much every major campus unit, lower costs, add value. It's pretty much a federated set of networks where we just kind of let them do their own thing and provide the infrastructure, licensing, and basically provide a big sandbox for everyone to do their stuff.
Oh, well, very good. And actually, when it comes to managing their content and everything, how do you guys go forward with managing the actual content between the students, between the faculty, and between, say, even the administration? I'm sure has their own goals and agendas and everything. Jesse, we'll start with you, then we'll go on to you for this one.
Sure.
So,
for me and my team, we found it easiest to have one person or one group that funnels that content. As in posting content on our server, just for quality control, and just create it. Go ahead. Sorry. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something.
No, go ahead.
It has been interesting, fielding these requests from students, faculty, and staff. And so we've kind of come to creating guidelines and rules of what we do post on our displays, which has really helped us manage that content, knowing when we can and when we can't post something, and then creating things like templates and guidelines for students and that kind of thing has really helped us
Have you ever noticed that there's like a particular, say, like group of students that kind of gather around it, like almost like I would say, either advertise, like this seems like something like advertising majors, or even marketing majors it would make sense for them to say, here, either A, you should join this group, or B, you should get involved with this because this is base level. This is base level stuff for you guys. It's kind of a micro environment in order to work later on with the macro.
Yeah, you can really tell when they do have one of those students working on the organization, because their content will be really crisp and clean. Yeah, we do that. Like, we have e-forms that we have them fill out, and they'll just send to us, really. But that has helped us a lot in kind of managing who is sending in content and making it easy for them to do that. Mm-hmm. And we also have a little group of student workers that we do have advocate for digital signage and help us with those templates and that kind of thing.
See, that is a good thing. I mean, I'm sure here and there, and if anything, the fact that you guys have had to make the form probably also means that there's been folks who have like said, "Oh yeah, no, this looks good," and you kind of look at it and you say, "No, listen. I understand this might be a good poster to put up,
Mm-hmm.
paste up on a wall kind of thing. However, this is meant for when folks like have to stop and read. But when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to digital signage, actually, you know what? This is a good question, and this will apply for both of you guys. What's the average length that you tend to have when it comes to the content being up on screen? Is it anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds, and I've seen this with our own folks on campus, they go, "Oh no, we'll put it up for 30 seconds." I'm kind of looking and going, "That's an eternity."
Yeah.
So about how long do you
So if it's a still image, we'll do like a max of 10 seconds that it's up there, and a maximum of 25 words, because you got to think that someone walking by is not going to read all that. But if it's a video, the motion graphic videos that we do are usually like a short bit of text for about 4 or 5 seconds per slide, basically.
Well, cool.
Yeah, to keep it short.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things. It's that when you get into it at times, digital signage does kind of go down the path of being very ADD-like. However, the other thing that folks really don't always factor in is that these are supposed to be in high traffic areas. So they're meant to be like, we're walking by, I'm coming through, I've got to get to class, or I've got to get to, the dean's office. And it does kind of funnel down back into, this is where advertising and marketing folks really should apply their trade, because the stuff's got to pop. It's got to catch their attention. Maybe they'll stick around. But otherwise, it's just boom, boom, boom. Thanks. Okay. Oh, got it. Right. All right. Snow day tomorrow. Don't come in.
That's one of the things I think we've struggled with too, is just getting people to understand this isn't, this isn't a TV. It's, it's a digital platform, yes, for you to send your information, but it's not somewhere to play a commercial. You don't want to put a 1-minute video of someone talking up there, and it's hard to get people to understand that concept.
Yeah. Thomas, I'm going to pivot this to you for a second on this one. As I say, and you said before, you kind of set up more of a sandbox for that.
Right.
Have you noticed that some departments tend to flourish more than others, or is it, or you guys tend to say like, these are like kind of the basic guidelines, you should go by this, or is it just, here it is, do your thing, and engineering department may have some cool stuff, but man, they crammed everything in via 10-point font.
Well, it varies. We've encouraged, our quote unquote customers to aggregate their responsibility for signage to the highest level. So our College of Engineering, they have, 14 individual departments within their college. Each one has a marketing and or communication professional within those departments. So they're all, in the same situation as Jesse, where they're professionals producing content, and they have their own forms, and they have their people submitting content. So they do a really good job without much, really input from us. It's very, I guess, decentralized, distributed, but we are, our content model has the departments completely responsible for their own content, but we are trying to move to a model where departments are able to share content more easily. There are some departments with very few signs, like our graduate college. They have 3 signs, just 3. The 350 signs on campus. College of Engineering, by the way, has 120 something. But the graduate college, with their 3 signs, they are really into content sharing. They get their content all over the place. So they get a lot of value out of their investment just by, thinking about their content more than some of the other groups with a lot of signs. So.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's one of those things of, that really kind of boils down to getting the most bang for your buck, and that's awesome to hear that. On campus for me, we have some distributed signs, and unfortunately, not to beat up my own campus too much, but no, it falls under the purview of our marketing and PR folks. And every now and then they're like, well, Bill, you know so much about this stuff. You should be putting out the content. And I look and I go, no, I'm the hardware guy that specs all this stuff. I am not a graphic designer. You want to go do this? I'm like, go kick this over to our Student Art Association. And they're like, I swear they look at it and they go, well, we don't know how to control them, so we're not going to go over to this. And I'm kind of going, I'm like, guys, these are the folks who will happily create your content for you, because for them, they can easily just go and take that project, go send it to their professors and say, look at this advertising campaign I did. I should get an A for an independent project because I'm also should be getting paid for this. Which I may or may not have I may not have taken that idea from a local art school over by me called the Joe Kubert School, and literally they're kids who go to school for comic book art, and if they get paid for a sketch, that's an independent program. That's an independent grade to boost their grade. So of course, half of them are all like, "Yeah, I want to do sketches for you because that'll boost my GPA." I'm like, "See, that's how it should work."
So to add into that, in our model, what we try to do is, if content is being coordinated at the college level and a deployment of physical signage, signs are being put up on a wall by an individual department within that college. If that department is not already in contact with their college about that deployment, I will try to facilitate that conversation as much as possible. I will say, have you talked to so-and-so? And if not, I will pull those people together to make sure that that department is working with the people above them, try to make sure that they have the right branding and the right strategy for their college, rather than just going their own way.
Yeah.
So there's a little social engineering going on here.
Well, I can totally understand that, because in the terms of, yes, there is a unified look that you want to have to things. You don't want to have, have something going where it's like, oh yes, here's the College of Engineering, here's their stuff, this is what's going on. Oh yeah, by the way, here's the College of Art, and all of a sudden, it's a completely different format. It's completely different this, and you get the, you hear the, you can always hear the car brake screech going on. You're like, what is that?
But basically it can be that in our case where, the College of Engineering looks totally different than, the College of Fine and Applied Arts. But our College of Engineering is bigger than most campuses. It really it is.
I'm pretty sure it's bigger than my university.
it is probably 3 times the size.
Yeah.
But that's, the issues that we deal with scale. In some, instances, campuses, work very top down. Some work from bottom up. We're very bottom up, and we're looking to coordinate more across the board. But, all these groups are working within the graphic standards guidelines of the university because they are true professionals. And that is something that has really come out to me as part of this, is that you don't necessarily have to dictate to get the right results. Just provide the right environment for them to do the right thing, and they will.
So I'm actually going to take from that on this one, in the fact that you said you built from the ground, from the bottom up and everything.
Yeah.
So and this is part of it in the fact that when you have digital signage products and everything, of course everything updates, it upgrades. There's, oh, this model can now take a, man, I remember when it used to be a big deal when it said, hey, we now have a compact flash card slot that you can easily change out your content. But that was before, the advent of network of a NIC on these things. And I might be dating myself a little bit there with that, but hey, I also remember I remember digital cameras that had a 3 1/4 floppy drive. So hey, it doesn't make me a bad person. I also used to develop black and white photography in a dark room. Moving on. That being said, the thing is that do you guys have a upkeep or a sustainable, like an actual sustainable model with these things? Do you have like a replacement program for these displays, or not even really with the displays, so much as with the players?
Jesse?
Yeah, no, it's, this is one of the things that I just think is crucial always when working with technology in general, is just having backup funds, knowing, if you think something's going to go wrong, something will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. And so having that, and then the players we use are actually like mini built computers.
Mm-hmm.
So every part has a 3-year warranty, and every part can be sent in and replaced. And just kind of having someone on your team that understands your players and the technology behind that is a huge help. Did that answer the question?
No, it totally does. If anything,
Okay.
no, because from time to time, you will have integrators, and I'll follow on to this later. You will have integrators who go and say, oh, this thing is the best. Oh, it's great. Oh, it can do X to Z. It's great and wonderful. And the follow-up question is, well, have you guys used it? Well, we know the techs that can help you out with this. And I'm like, that doesn't answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
And, so there's a certain amount of sustainability with this. And by sustainability, I really mean like, when you go and put like, say, here, we put in this room or in these hallways and everything, we put in a 55-inch display. Is it 4K? No, but it does 1080p. And now, rarely, I say that because I know some other folks can easily strike me down with this. Right now, I haven't seen a huge draw for, we need to have 4K signage. And I'm kind of looking at it going, do you understand how big of a display you need in order to do that?
Yeah, we just put in a, it's a huge, like 8-foot mosaic wall. And that's one of the things we're running into is, some of the software we're using to put our content through doesn't support 4K. So, I mean, that is an issue. And I think there's maybe not a huge draw for it now, but I mean, it should be, people should be preparing for that. And...
Oh, sure. No. If anything, that's the thing that, and we've talked about this on the show a couple of times, is that my idea of future-proofing things is, well, one of 3 things. One, adding extra conduit because piping don't corrode. And if it does, I really will ask, why are you below sea level? 2 is the fact of putting in fiber. Which doesn't always, there's been some changes in the micron diameter and everything, but, for the most part, if you're running, you really only should need to run like multi-mode to these things. If you're running single mode, my 2 questions are, 1, are you doing broadcast work? Because they seem to have a love affair with single mode fiber that I just don't get. And 2, the only other reason I can see you ending up having to run single mode fiber is if Jesse wanted to advertise something on Thomas's campus. And even then, that's some long haul. That is some long haul duty work. So, but that's more of the future proofing and everything. But that's also in the regards of here, we're going to put this, we are going to plan for 4K, and are most of my classrooms and most of my campus ready for 4K? Of course. Have I come across anyone that has desired 4K yet, aside from the art department that swears at the same time they're also going to need 4K 3D? To which I tell them, get out of my office. Good. So it's it's like I said, that's just the growth and planning of things.
And I think again, like with the players that are buildable, at least on a smaller scale, that works better for us because we've had issues before where we've had one that we didn't like that wasn't a buildable one break, and then we send it out and the tech goes MIA and then our player is gone forever. And so we had to wait like a month to get a new media player. So things like that can happen. So really understanding your technology will help you future-proof.
Yeah. Thomas, you oh, okay. Sorry, I'm suddenly hearing like a type. As I say, someone's on a type.
I think that's Michael.
Oh. Hey, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. It's fine.
Typing away.
No. No. I know Mike. I know Mike. This is on a laptop, so he can't get away. He can't get away from it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. As I say, for those that don't, as I say, if you're new to the show, Mike is a consultant, which means his work time never turns off.
Fortunately, yeah.
No, that's good.
You're right.
Good to stay busy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just as I say, just kind of rounding this out for a minute here. This is both for Jesse and Thomas. Here's the thing, like, how do you guys also, when it comes, this is also coming kind of full circle with it and all, but how do you guys work out the feedback from the students? How do you know what's really, what got people's attention? Do you guys do like a poll everywhere kind of thing? Do you send out an email? Do you just, do you grab students in the hallway and you go, hey, what do you think of that?
So for us, on the marketing side, since we do a lot of the content creation and that kind of thing, we do have focus groups with some of our students on campus, being generally student workers or student workers from other departments, and we sit them down and we'll have a first viewing of a piece of digital signage, and we'll get their opinion and feedback on that. And a lot of times that leads to us being able to cut out content that's unnecessary, that they're like, maybe if you have something that says get more information at UT.edu, you really don't need that get more information, you cut it out, and they understand that. And then again, also with those forms that we've created, we are collecting emails from that, and at the end of each semester we'll send out a survey on how was your experience, what was your turnout for your event, and just getting that feedback from the students who are using it, so we are accommodating them, and that gives us more buy-in from the students.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. I mean, it's one of those things of it is good to get feedback on these things, and at times it's one of those things. Periodically, I'll write stuff for AV Network, and periodically I will get emails, but for the most part, sometimes it just turns into, this has gone into the void. And then some folks will go, oh no, I read it. I'm like, okay, cool. I have no way of knowing. So
yeah,
and when it comes to the digital signage, that's key, because otherwise, folks can go and say, oh yeah, no, it was great. Really? Did folks show up? Oh, I don't know. I saw it. I'm like, well, that doesn't.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been talking about trying is having a digital sign that maybe has a survey or something that students will be prompted to go to, either like, maybe with some sort of incentive to see, are they viewing it? What's how many students are viewing it, kind of to check the volume and get a better understanding of our audience, I guess, in general.
Thomas, I'm going to bring this over to you and everything. Like, how do you guys manage, how do you manage the feedback, or how do you get feedback from these systems?
Well, this is a question I've actually been asking my customers. How do they judge the effectiveness of their deployments? How are they using our service? Because we're kind of, almost like a second level. They're using what we provide them. And what was interesting, I would love to be able to, say that they, get concrete feedback from their audiences directly. But a few of them had an interesting response when I asked them this, but they get a lot of requests to put content up on their signs. So they were judging their effectiveness by the number of requests to have content put up. So I wasn't expecting that. And also, I do a lot of people watching, since I walk around campus quite a bit. So we have a really, busy mass transit district here on campus, and bus schedules are very heavily used piece of content. So I tend to watch people watch the signs.
Mhm.
So I can tell that the students do find them valuable. And if I do see someone engaged in watching the signs, I will actually walk up to someone and start a conversation
Oh, cool.
and see how, how they're using it and that sort of thing. But figuring out, just how the students and the faculty who, are, walking around campus on a daily basis get value from the signs is, difficult sometimes. And, it's, sometimes when I walk across campus, it's, usually when I'm feeling down or something like that, a little depressed, works, someone will ask me for directions or something. And that's when I feel like, yeah, what I do matters, because there's wayfinding on campus, and wayfinding uses our system too, so it's not just the big displays, but wayfinding, room signage, video walls. Pretty much we have everything from tiny little signs to the video walls. So, what we do really does affect how even visitors, prospective students and their families, interact with our campus on a daily basis.
Now, this will be one last question for both of you and everything. This is kind of just this is more of a just me kind of checking how things are. When it comes to the actual locations for the signage, is it determined by you? Is it determined by, say, an architect if it's a new building, or the consultant if it's a new building, or is it driven by the client itself, who just literally goes and says, "I want it right there"? And no, believe me, I've had it a couple of times. Like, our science department was like, "Yeah, I want to put it like right there," and I kind of looked and I went, "Yeah, we can't do that." And they say, "Well, why not?" And I went, "Because it's right in front of a door, and as high as I'm gonna put it, if I don't tell the carpenters to put a doorstop, that door handle's gonna go right through the bezel."
Yeah.
And no, and you know what though, I applaud them. I understand it. It's for them. This is my space. I know what's going to get everyone's attention. I kind of look at them and I go, this is digital signage. This is advertising space. You, as much as you think this is a cool idea, this is not your home. This is not your thing. So
yeah, on our campus, it happens all of those ways. Design and installation is a service that we can provide. So we can help a department decide where to put signs, and then guide that project all the way through putting that sign up. But departments put up their own signs as part of either a renovation or part of a new building construction project, and that is fine too. And they'll hook that into our service. So it happens all those ways as well. And interestingly enough, our facilities and services folks, the architects and project designers actually brought me over there last summer to talk about how they can better plan for digital signage as part of their construction projects. And I was like, oh yes, now I want, this is exactly what I've been waiting for, because I've seen some, even in new construction, digital signage is not really well planned for, even by professionals. So the earlier they get in a project, to have that well done, the better.
Oh yeah, it's in some cases the architects and as I say, some of the other things that ends up popping up from time to time. And I will give a happy note to this one on them. Some of my counterparts down at Rutgers, who Rutgers, their main campus in New Brunswick is massive. As I say, not as massive as some other folks in the podcast here, but they have a number of campuses. They have a number of buildings, and it's a maddening sprawl. And those guys really do try to kind of set the limits, but a lot of times, the college, the Department of Food Sciences will go and say, "Hey, we're putting in a new building," and they're 95% done, and all of a sudden they come to Matt, my friend Matt and Tim Van Woort, so I'm giving them a shameless plug, but they'll come to them and they'll say, "Hey, we want to put AV and we want to put this stuff in." Cool. Is the drywall already up? They're like, oh yeah, no, the spackle's already on, paint's already on. Okay, cool. Do you guys have a budget? Well, no, we thought you'd pay for it. They're like, no, it don't work like that. And they're like, where were you anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half ago? But it's a learning process. They're really trying to unify stuff there. I got to give them credit. They're going down, like Rutgers is slowly going down the path of, yes, there is a Rutgers Camden, there is a Rutgers Newark, there is a Rutgers New Brunswick. And it used to be that all three of them it was almost like they had like a branding program going on where, were they a Rutgers campus? Yes. Did they have their own deans? You betcha. Did they all communicate with each other? Not a damn bit. So, but they're slowly unifying. They're slowly getting this stuff together. I've happily browbeaten folks here to the point that the deans all know when they suddenly hear their faculty go and say, hey, we want to do this. Yeah, go talk to Bill. They're like, but I've done all the research. They're like, go talk to Bill. He will help manage this and get it through. It's one of those, please leave it to the professionals. It's not that I don't trust folks. It's just that every now and then, and I'm sure this has happened to both of you guys, hey, I found this really great idea on Best Buy. And I'm like, cool.
Oh.
We don't do residential in this place. This is a
Right.
commercial space and everything. And, I get it. I understand the folks are trying to come to you with these things, but it's like, you know what? And I don't bite their heads off or anything so much as I just go, you could do that. And when it breaks, I'm like, unfortunately, you guys are kind of going to be on your own. And it's not that I don't want to support you. It's just, those are levels that I really don't want to jump through. So anyway, that's my soapbox on that one. Once again, I said I've been known to rant and rave, but anyway, just getting back to things. Jesse, do you want to mind giving us the dates and the which day you and Thomas are going to be doing your panel at DSE?
Yes, so the dates are March, I believe, 28th through 31st or the 30th.
Okay.
And for our panel, let me just pull it up real quick.
No,
I'm glad she knows.
I know, it's like I have it in an email right here. So our panel will be on March 30th at 2 p.m. And yeah, it should be pretty fun.
Cool.
And really helpful, I think, to a lot of people.
Now, are you guys going to be, where is this going to be held at? Is it going to be at the Las Vegas Convention Center?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, have you guys been there before?
Yeah, this will be my third time going, and
it's massive, isn't it?
Pretty huge, and it's pretty fun. Yeah, and then you got Vegas there, so you can't lose.
You'd be surprised on that one, and when folks go, "Oh yeah, no, I know my limits." Yeah, okay. Next thing you know, hey, what happened to Thomas? Well, he went into Binion's gambling hall. We haven't seen him for 3 days. What happened?
I think I've been there for like 6 years, and I've never even put a coin in a slot machine. That's
You're a better man than I simply look at all that and I go, that's really cool. Unfortunately, being from Jersey, I've been scarred by years of Atlantic City Tropicana casinos. So I look at Vegas and I go, ha ha, you're not today, Satan. Anyway, so that being said, it's great to hear you guys are going to have this panel. If anything, I wish that the room is filled to capacity, like some of our other glorious guests. Off my stomach. No, seriously, like it's always great to see panels that are geared towards educators, because when it comes to higher ed, more often than not, you're working on some at times somewhat limited budgets, and it's always good to just get the info from folks, and also kind of get the info of hey, if you're going into this, these are some of the things you should really have covered and everything. So that being said, Jesse, once again, thank you for being on the show. Thomas, thank you as well. We are going to move on to some of our articles and everything. So if you two care to stay on, you're more than welcome to. If not, we'll thank you for your time.
All right, I'm gonna head out. Thanks for having me on the show. Bye, guys.
No problem, Jesse.
I'll head off too.
Oh, all right. No problem. So that being said, back to our stories and everything. Well, the first, as I say, the first little bit that I want to cover is actually what spun out of ISE, and that is that Crestron put out they put out a press release. They put out some new products, which is always great to see. Hey, we've got new toys. This is their Crestron Digital Media NVX series, and I could go into it. However, I know Mr. Tomei is very well versed on these things, so I will actually let him give a layman's overview for this first. So.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So I'll take a little step back and kind of define the whole AV over IP craze or boom that's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of companies are getting into this market, and Crestron getting into it was a pretty big announcement from the show last week.
Mm-hmm.
So AV over IP, for those listeners that don't really know the concept very well, your current models in classrooms, you're probably used to more of a point-to-point type systems. So you would have maybe HD-based T transmitters and receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So at each source device, you'd have a transmitter. At each receiver, you would each destination device, you would have a receiver, and it would go through some sort of a switcher.
Mm-hmm.
In the room. AV over IP model, you place encoders at the source devices, decoders at the destination devices, and then they're all connected through standard Ethernet switches. So that's the big difference there. It's you're not using proprietary video switchers in the middle there. And these systems can seemingly be scaled up very large because it's as large as your network is, and you can just keep placing encoders and decoders on the network. And it creates this massive matrix switching environment on the network because the decoders can pick up any of the streams from the encoders, and you can control the decoders, so you can handle switching in that respect. The decoders would just pick up different streams from those encoders. So that's the big differences there between the two. And Crestron getting into this market is really big because they're making a ton of money off of their point-to-point HD-based T, or their digital media line, which is HD-based T-based. And they make a lot of money off that. So for them to get into this market of creating these IP-based encoders and decoders, it really shows that they're understanding this is the way this industry is going now.
Mm-hmm.
And even at ISE, HD-based T announced that by June they're going to have a IP-based solution for HD-based T. So now we can no longer just be point-to-point. We can get everything on the network and go through these standard Ethernet switches. So that's really the big news there.
Yeah, and if anything, for me, I look at it and I go, cool. Back in my brain keeps going, wait a minute, does this have anything to do with how AptoVision and did their Blue River chip tech and everything? But yep. I agree with you more in that it's the industry's kind of looking at everything and saying, yeah, we should be shifting everything really over to the moving everything more over IP. The big portion, and even Crestron hypes this, and I'll give them credit for this one, is the fact that for them, they said, hey, it's over 1 gigabit Ethernet.
Right.
Which is a big deal because, before, I've had to do this for our broadcast, our school of communication and their broadcast department, in which pretty much all their switches are 10. They're like, oh yeah, we want to do 10 gigabit Ethernet. And I'm like, can't we just do it fiber? And they're like, no, we want copper. I'm going, oh, you're going to be melting the copper. So it's one of those things of, it's like, it's kind of getting more into the, I'm not going to say energy efficient, but it's more bandwidth efficient realm. So I'm happy for him on this one.
Yep.
Ernie, as I say, is this something that you're going to like present to your fellow network admins, and are they going to play nice with this, or are they going to look at this and be like, that's a bandwidth hog, get it out of my site?
Well, I think that's going to be their first comment, and I'm also I've been burned enough. I'm not going to put out version 1.0 of anybody's product. Sorry.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone loved before private network mode.
Mike, I want to throw something back out at you. They say over a dedicated 1 gigabit network.
Yeah.
Does that mean that this is, I need a separate network for this?
That's the thing. So a lot of these solutions, you can't just dump it right on your network. Your network services people are going to freak out that you're eating up tons of bandwidth here. So yeah, you know that you have the kind of dedicated AV network versus the campus-wide enterprise network. So you could have a redundant network, say, running alongside the enterprise network just for these devices, and then you're not competing with the bandwidth there, because even though they say, oh, I can go over 1 gigabit switch connections, yeah, how much of that bandwidth are you eating up? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. It turns into the, hey, can we put this on our regular our regular data LAN? To which my answer would be no.
right. Yeah, because there's two different thoughts here with this. It's all streaming, right? It's all video and audio streaming. So you have low bandwidth H.264 streaming that everybody's used to, and network services people can handle that bandwidth usually. But what we're looking at here with like Crestron's device or SVSI or some of the others that are into this, they use streaming such as like JPEG 2000, which is a lot higher bandwidth streaming. So it's not like your little Netflix stream that that network services people can wrap their heads around. It's a much higher bandwidth stream.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, you know, Ernie hit dead on the head with this one of you know, yes, you can do all this on 1 gigabit Ethernet. There should be like a little asterisk on that says, oh yeah, did we mention you should probably just set up your own separate VLAN for this one, which for us almost keeps it at, we'd end up having no, we keep it all in the same VLAN, but it's still it's just one of those things where folks have to, you know, the integrators and the support staff have to really be more network savvy. Not that it hasn't happened. It's just they have to be a lot more aware about these things.
Right.
So anyway, that being said, I'm just going to kind of keep it to this because we are running a little bit long on time here and everything. So Mr. Ernie, how are things shaping up for winter break for you, sir?
Well, we made it through the upgrades we were doing over winter break, and we're now doing a major overhaul of a auditorium boardroom combination that we have in one of our buildings. It's one of those, it's not a heavily used space, but when it's used because the governor needs to make an announcement about healthcare, or the chancellor needs to make a campus-wide announcement, or, you know,
it's when it's used, it's when it's used.
When it's used, it's high profile.
Yep.
It's one of those deals, you know, we've been fighting for 7 or 8 years to get funding to upgrade it. Someone realized that there is a foundation fund account set up specifically to keep it operational and keep it up to date. So all of a sudden we had money. So now we're doing it, and we have our largest campus fundraiser will take place, largest on-campus fundraiser that we do takes place the first weekend in May. And if we're not fully functional by then, there'll be someone else taking my spot on this podcast in June.
Oh boy.
No. Oh dear.
I will be flipping burgers somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's kind of where we are on this project.
Oh please, Ernie. I don't want to see you doing podcasts while you're working the Friolator at Whataburger.
Yeah. But it's an exciting thing. We're doing some really neat new things, at least for here on campus, with some wireless HDMI. So we have some mobile flat panels floating around kind of a foyer area, and try to do some time sharing of equipment between several rooms. So that's where we're going with that right now.
Oh, very cool. Mike, you have any fun pokers in the fire right now, or is it they're all boulders that are still going uphill but haven't quite gone over?
Oh no, I'm knee deep in the middle of a bunch of projects. So there's a couple little projects that got pushed off to spring break for a couple of my clients. So that's we're just putting the finishing touches on getting those in there. And then all the summer projects, I'm knee deep in the middle of heavy design for some really big ones and some complex ones. So it's a lot of fun actually. It's some new technology in there, and it's really in the thick of it right now.
Yeah, that sounds about right for all of us in the education world.
Yeah.
It's the get everything ready for spring break. Oh, good, all the students are gone. Great, get in the rooms. So, cool.
Yep.
As I say, that is about all the time we have. Mr. Tomei, where can folks find you at online? online?
Well, my website is tomeav.com. That's TOMEIAV.com. And a real quick plug, the Infocom show registration just opened yesterday, I believe. And I'm teaching 2 seminars, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday, both at 1 o'clock. So just do a search and sign up for those. And
Yeah, them I can guarantee are probably going to be standing room.
Yeah, let's
only.
hope. I hope, yeah.
Hey, if it's anything like last year, that will be true.
Right.
Mr. Ernie Bailey, where can folks find you at?
Best place to find me is on LinkedIn.
All right, fair enough. I'm Bill O'Donnell. You can find me on LinkedIn as well as on Twitter at the original OD. Both of those I'm usually pretty quick to respond. That being said, this has been EdTech. Thank you, guys. I will see you next month.